Hey, welcome to day 13 of Project Me. I'm going to get right into it straight away. So first of all with the daily reflection, and then Ryan Holiday's book and that self-reflection, and lastly finishing up with some gratitude. Hopefully not a long video today. I say that every time, I swear. And I guess the timestamp will speak for itself, so fingers crossed. Anyways, today I have done quite a bit of work. Again, same problem as yesterday though. I woke up and did I go for a run? No, I did not. I sat there and I thought to myself, I'm just so tired. Just so tired. And I questioned myself. I was like, hey, you know that if you lay here, you're going to regret it in 2 hours. And I just did not care. Because I put on my mask and I went back to sleep. I laugh now, but man, it is tearing me up. It's okay. It's okay. I forgive myself. We move on. But I can't let it keep defining me. You know, I need to rein myself in. So at the moment, if I were to wake up in 2 seconds with this mindset, I would be right on top of it. I'd go for a run right now. But we'll see how I am tomorrow morning when I'm not fully conscious and me, I suppose. Anyways, after that, I probably got up about 2 hours later and just did some schoolwork. I read through all my readings I have to do for today. Sorry, well, I did them all today, but I did them for tomorrow's classes. Yep, so something like 80, I think I counted it up, 85 pages of academic journal and law cases that I had to read for today. Not exactly fun, but hey, I'm paying a lot of money for it. I better do it. Yeah, so quite a bit of work done on that. Went to my seminar for one of my classes, came back, that was all good. Then just finished up with more work, and I've just finished recently, about maybe 50 minutes ago, with my schoolwork for today. And I've just about finished the essay. The problem is I've written way too much for the word count. And I'm going to talk to my lecturer about maybe seeing if he can raise the word count for me. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again, I find the topic really interesting. And I don't think I can do the topic justice with the word limit. I spoke to him about the question before at the previous tutorial. This is my professor. And we spoke about how it's a very difficult question because it's so broad. The question is, China's a party state, how does that shape its foreign policy? And there are so many ways to go about it. For example, one approach, which is the one he suggested, I took a different approach. He suggested looking at it through the lens of a Leninist party state and how Leninist party states act ideologically in the international system. How does ideology shape their policy and their actions? I went at it a different way. I said the Chinese Communist Party is in power right now. They have a political monopoly on Chinese political power. And that means that they're in a constant search for legitimacy and security. Those are their two aims. Security through legitimacy as well. So it's mostly through legitimacy that they get security. That's a little bit besides the point. And the point I'm making is that through their foreign policy, they channel the search for legitimacy and security. And I argue that they do it through the foreign policy apparatus of China, that is the fusion of party and state. So you have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you have, of course, the Central Foreign Affairs Commission, which is run by the Central Committee of the Communist Party, and then you have the United Front Work Department, run by the party, and you also have the International Liaison Department. And they all work together, not exactly in tandem, but they all focus on Chinese foreign policy goals. And they're all run by the fusion that is the party state. Right? The party essentially is the state. The party's interests are the state's interests, and therefore China's interests. Anyways, very long-winded explanation of what my essay is about, but I want to. I feel like I've done a really good job on the essay, despite being 1,000 words over the word limit, for example. And I would like to turn it in as it is because I think it's a really good essay. It's polished. It's pretty good. This would be something I'd expect to turn in 2 years, for example, for a postgraduate degree or something. But it's not. It's for an undergraduate degree with a word limit. So, oh well, I digress. But yeah, finished that. This is my break now, and after this, I'm probably just going to watch some self-improvement YouTube videos. Like, huge shout out to a guy called Shimon Davis on YouTube. Just absolute legend. He has some really good content out there. Just really common sense stuff. And what I really like about his videos, and keep in mind, I rarely open social media. I rarely open YouTube. Rarely open Instagram. Never use Snapchat. What I like about his videos are that he treats it like a conversation. It's very calm. It's very soothing. It's almost like therapy. Normally my idea of therapy is watching Good Will Hunting, for example. But his YouTube videos might be a close second. Some really good content out there. So big shout out to him. So I'll probably just watch one of his videos and then call it a night. Maybe read some poetry before I go to bed. But yeah, but I really wanted to spend this extra time talking about some things I forgot to mention yesterday. So about that wine and cheese, and I was kind of critiquing my approach to socializing there. I came up with a few things. So first of all, we talked about yesterday about speaking really quickly and how I feel like it undermines my credibility. Just because I stumble over my words, and I do that from a desire of wanting to make people like me and trying to get what I want to say out there. Because back in high school, I'm very hesitant to say bullied, but it's definitely not a great time because of one specific person, how he treated me. But he would cut me off all the time every time I tried to say something, and so I learned to speak really quickly to get my thoughts out. For good or ill, mostly for ill, I think, because I think confidence is all about slowing down, showing you're not in a hurry to do anything. But we talked yesterday about that, and today I want to talk about how I want to start first. This will segue into what I want to talk about. But I want to start first with something that I am really good at, which is I'm very good at asking questions and putting the conversational spotlight on the other person. I'm really good at getting them to talk. I, myself, am terrible, the worst, at talking about myself. Which sometimes makes connections really hard to make because it feels very one way. I am getting them to talk to me about them, so they're talking about themselves, and they like that because everyone loves talking about themselves. It's their favorite topic, right? But so they connect well with me, but I don't connect well with them because I'm not getting that same sort of feeling by talking to them. There's one person, Benjamin Disraeli, who was the English Prime Minister over 100 years ago. When he was running for the role of Prime Minister, he was competing against this other guy, and both these guys, Disraeli and his opponent, they took the same woman out to dinner, and after, the woman said that Disraeli's opponent made her feel like he was the smartest person in the room. But when she went out with Disraeli made her feel like she was the smartest person in the room. And I think that very much encapsulates what I try and do when I talk to other people. I try and make them feel really good about themselves, but in doing so, I forget that I exist. I forget that I have a part to play, that I'm important to me, and I forget to kind of connect with them in that sense. I don't get the same thing. I don't get the same things out of the conversation I have with someone than they get out of it. So I'm just terrible at talking about myself. You ask me what I do, and God, part of it is tall poppy syndrome. I am so scared about talking about my achievements because I am so worried that it'll come off as me bragging. And so I just don't talk about myself, because the things I would talk about I feel like for the average person my age, they haven't even thought about going about doing some of those things. Like, for example, like, it's really hard talking about it just now, actually, and it's just me. Last year I was invited by the Council of Europe to travel to Europe and participate as a youth delegate in the World Forum for Democracy, hosted by the Council of Europe. And so they paid for my flights, my accommodation, food, all that. And like, that's a fantastic opportunity that I wish, you know, not to publicize myself, but I wish more people knew about it, because it could lead to much more interesting conversations. But I'm so scared of telling people that, because I don't want them to be, you know, jealous, for one. I don't want them to think that I'm bragging and think that I'm just this narcissistic person. And I've been called narcissistic before, as a joke, by some friends, and it bothered me, because I try so hard to suppress any sort of I would think it's narcissism. I think it's narcissism, but I know that it's not. It's just me trying to find my own value, but I suppress it because I used to think it was narcissism, and I don't want to validate what, you know, I don't want to validate these external sayings that I am a narcissist. So I suppress it, and that's partly why I struggle so much with self-talk and with self-value, because I suppress everything that is, you know, noteworthy or achievement-worthy about myself in favor of sources that are outside of me. You know, people. I think I've said enough to make anyone understand what I'm trying to say. It's just really difficult to talk about myself, and I need to get better at that. And I think what I need to do, I need to write out a list of common questions that are part of conversations when you meet someone new. You know, hey, what do you do? What do you study? Oh, where are you from? Yada, yada, yada. And I need to write responses to them in a way that incorporates something I've learned is called conversational threading. And so that's when you go through the kind of like this, it's not long-winded, but in a way it is, a very long-winded answer to the question. You know, you're making your way from point A to point B, but on the way, you're tying in all these other details about yourself that the other person can draw on. You know, if they make a connection with, say, the fact that I'm trying to say that I'm from the US and I traveled around and I surfed quite a bit, you know, they could settle on surfing and go, oh, where do you surf? I used to surf as well, you know, and find these little dots on the way from point A to point B where they can connect, and makes for a much more interesting discussion that's more, you know, flowing, I suppose, because anytime you start running out of things to say, you can go back to a detail that you learned earlier. I'm realizing we're about 13 minutes in, and I do have 2 more things I want to talk about, but I think I'll leave them for tomorrow, just because I don't want to make the video long. So let's get into Ryan Holiday, self-reflection, and then gratitude. Today is May 6th. Yes, it is. Brilliant. Please don't be long. Oh, it's quite long. We're going to skip to May 7th because it's so long. Okay. How to have a good day. This will be a good one. This is a quote by Epictetus. God laid down this law, saying, if you want some good, get it from yourself. Very relevant to what I was talking about earlier, you know. You need that internal validation, well, especially if you're like me, where external validation means nothing to you, nothing at all. It doesn't matter. People could say the most perfect thing to make me feel something, and I'd appreciate it, I'd thank them, but it doesn't mean anything because it's not me. But then at the same time, I'm not giving myself that validation. So maybe I'm stuck in like an endless cycle of bad days, I don't know, but I think there's a lot of common sense and logic in what Epictetus is saying, in that you need a good day to come from within, rather than the sun shining, for example, you know? It's about how you approach things. So anyways, here's what Ryan Holiday has to say. Here is how to guarantee you have a good day. Do good things. Any other source of joy is outside your control or is non-renewable. But this one is all you, all the time and unending. It is the ultimate form of self-reliance. I couldn't agree more. And frankly, that's just a fantastic quote for today. That is just wonderful, actually. Very topical. Very necessary, I think, to someone like me. But anyways, let's move on to gratitude. Today, my my parents sent me a photo of them they're on holiday right now, just for a few days. They've gone up north, staying in Russell, which is an old capital of New Zealand. And they sent me a photo of them eating breakfast today, and it was just so cute. I'm just very grateful to my parents for just being there for me. And mum and dad, I have my differences with dad, but I know he'll always have my back, even if it's for reasons I may think is wrong. But we won't go down that road. And mum is just such a wonderful human being. It took me a long time to realize it. Nearly 18, well over 18 years, but she's just such a good person, and I'm so lucky that she is my mum. I'm tearing up just thinking about it. Just thinking about it, I've actually never told my parents I love them. Maybe it's because I grew up in a very, I grew up in a very non-touchy, non-direct family. We didn't tell each other that very often. We hardly hugged, hardly touch each other. So I've just never told them that, and it's kind of bizarre, actually. So maybe one day we'll have to tell them. Mother's Day's coming up, actually this Sunday or Saturday, I think. So that'll be a great time. So yeah, thankful to them. Also grateful for, in the name of self-validating, I'm grateful to myself. Starting this project, I think, has been really good at getting me to open up a little bit more and do it in a very low pressure environment. Granted, I'm posting it on the internet for anyone to see, but I think that also promotes some honesty in me. I think it's really good that I'm doing this for myself, and so I'm really grateful that I kind of embarked on this journey of self-discovery and improvement. It's going to be a long time before I see results, but I am actually really enjoying doing this, and I hope to continue it. It's really relieving, actually, to get all this off my chest. And thirdly, I am grateful for my jacket, my nice wool jacket. It kept me so warm walking to campus today. So warm, like unbelievably. I would have been freezing, shivering, had I walked without it. So thank you for buying that jacket. Thank you, jacket. Anyways, we'll leave it there. It's 18 minutes. I'm so sorry. But I guess it's just me watching it, so doesn't matter. Alright, take care. Cheers.